Alright, hi everyone. Today we're going to take a look at theme. Theme is one of the most complex ideas that we're going to look at. So this is a pretty important video to be watching. We're going to take a quick look at the definition of the theme. Then we're going to take a look at some clues that you might use to help you find it. And then we'll talk about how to write a proper theme statement. So by definition, theme is the overall message of the story that we can apply to our everyday lives. So when we look at a theme, we're trying to figure out what is this story trying to tell us. And there are a number of clues that we can consider. So number one, think about the big ideas the story talks about. So what are some concepts that come out in the story? So for example, maybe the story talks about love or hate or friendship or courage or freedom. All of these sorts of big ideas in society are things that will likely be some sort of opinion about voiced through the story. You might also want to consider the tone or the attitude of the writer towards those topics. So maybe it's talking about love, but it's written in a very comedic tone that's over the top, and maybe it's kind of ridiculing the idea of love. We also have to think about the characters. So what does the main character believe in? And once we know that, we have to decide, do we like that character? How do things turn out for that character? So if the main character really believes in revenge, do we agree with them or not? If not, maybe the theme is something about why revenge is wrong. Or maybe if we look at how things turn out for the character, maybe the character goes on a quest for revenge and then gets defeated or gets killed in some way. We probably don't want to follow that path, and so the theme or the message is probably about why revenge is a bad idea. Sort of similarly, we can think about what is the central conflict? How does it get resolved, and is it resolved? So is the story showing us a conflict and then telling us what the solution is? If so, maybe the solution to the conflict is the message of the story. So, for example, if you've got a story about somebody that's really struggling, and then the conflict is resolved because their friend helps them out, maybe there's some sort of message about friendship there. We can also think about what lessons the main character learns. Sometimes you get a direct description from that character, talking to another character maybe about what they've learned from the whole experience, and that's probably a good takeaway from the story as a message. But of course, you still want to consider the questions posed in number 3. Do we like that main character? And if so, do we agree with what lesson they've learned? That sort of question. Finally, and this is the most difficult one, is what is the style of the story like? So does it tell us something with just how it's written? So style is a very complex issue. We won't get into it too much, but sometimes you can figure out the message of the story just by the way that the story is written, just by the style of it. When you go to make a theme statement, it should be a full thought or a full statement that is a message to the reader and not specific to characters in the story. So for example, a good theme statement would be, love has the ability to conquer evil. But you would not want your theme statement to be, the theme of the story is love. It has to be, what about love? What is it telling us about some big idea? And you also don't want to be too specific to the story. So for example, you wouldn't want to say, Katniss's courage lets her overcome hardship. That's too specific, and we should learn about how we ourselves can apply the same lesson to our own lives. So if you're interested, there's a full note on theme in the cloud. If you go into the short stories folder and then notes, there should be one about theme. And try out the practice quiz on my gradebook to make sure that you're following along with all of these literary terms. Okay, good luck.